Let me check if these patch notes are the real deal. Nope. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Maybe a little bit. Yeah. Alright, my friends. Major new content and features. Strength, Intelligence, Skill Gem, Smite. We know all about that. Strength, Intelligence, Skill Gem, Consecrated Path. Slams the ground with your weapon at the target location. If an enemy is near where you target, you'll teleport to it from a short distance away. Slam and create an area of consecrated ground. Slam the ground with your weapon at the targeted location. If an enemy is near where you target, you'll teleport to it from a short distance away. Interesting. Why didn't they show us any of this? Oh man. Okay. I mean, that sounds cool. I need a little bit more info though. Summon Holy Relic. Summon a Holy Relic that stays near you when you hit an enemy with an attack. The Holy Relic triggers a Nova spell with a very short cooldown that deals physical damage to enemies and grants life regeneration to allies. This life regenerated is more effective for your minions? Interesting. Kinda like a golem? Is this real? Am I getting trolled? Those are so weird. I mean, they're cool, but kinda weird. Why didn't they put up videos for them or anything? Keeping it tight, keeping it real. Alright, Herald of Purity we know. Scourgear we know. Herald of Agony, absolutely. The Crawly Boy is the best. Vaal, Ancestral Warchief. So it is. It's arrived. Summon an Ancestral Totem that attacks enemies with a powerful cascading slam while you're near it. If the enemies are far away, it will leap as it slams, bringing it closer. Being near it grants you more melee damage? What? It's a leap slamming totem boy? What the hell? Well, people were right. It truly is a Vaal Ancestral Warchief, but that is some crazy ass stuff, especially since a lot of people are suspecting that Ancestral Warchief is gonna be pretty good for Delphin, but this guy's gonna be hopping around. He's a jumping boy. I like it. New system to handle high-level players playing with low-level party members in lower areas. High-level players are downscaled. Oh, this is going through now. Cool. Oh, I think they meant to implement this earlier. High-level players are downscaled, making the area more challenging and allowing the lower-level players to get an appropriate amount of experience and currency. Previously, the lower-level players would have had their experience gains and currency fines penalized if the level gap was significant. This scaling applies only in areas at or below level 67 and is an optional feature for party play. Pretty OP, you're going to be able to boost people pretty nicely, I think. Added new tooltip which hovering over the gym. Wait, what? Added a new tooltip which, when hovering over a support gem, shows which currently equipped skill can and cannot be supported by it. This includes skills built into items and skills whose functionality has been changed by another support, such as spells supported by the trap support gem. It's nice. Sure. Minor new content and features. Added a new vendor recipe. Added 3 new fated unique prophecies. Added 22 new labyrinth enchantments, including 2 for existing skills. Interesting. Updated several older models, including Goatmen, Beasts, Blood Apes, and Blood Chieftains. Cool. Added 3D art to the following unique items: Chains of Command, Speaker's Wraith, Tinkerskin, the Coming Calamity, Cloak of Defiance, and Garukan's Flight. Updated the visuals for several older skills, namely Ice Nova, Cleave, Frenzy, Heavy Strike, Caustic Arrow, and Double Strike. Did they talk about Double Strike? I think they did. The default attack and wand attack both also have new effects. Okay, I guess that kind of makes sense. Added that's a buff to Scion, by the way, since you don't even pick up the freaking Spectral Throw gem. Added a League information panel, which you can view during character creation. Yes! Can't you do this for, like, ascendancies too? Do it! Item filters are now capable of displaying minimap icons and light beams for specific categories of items, making them much harder to miss. Yeet. Added the capacity to use custom local sound files in your item filter. Big. Important dialogue options like quests are now highlighted in the NPC dialogue window. Nice. Enabled 2v2 PvP queues. You can now filter the passive skill tree by the terms keystone and notable. Nice. Added a new story glyph to the Ashen Fields. Exciting. You may hear the slaves and slave pens talking to you now. Yikes. Fleeting Orion citizens now say things that will make you feel even worse for accidentally killing them. Okay, sure. The guy who opens the gate on Lionized Watch now also says something hot. There are now children hanging out in Orion Square, the nice version. Go say hi. Okay. Character balance. Change to block and chance to block spells have been reworked. Previously there were several. Okay, we want numbers. We know. Actually, no, they do mention something. Previously there were several different modifiers that applied in different ways but achieved the same thing. For example, Stone of Lazar allows a portion of your block chance to apply to spells, while Great Old One Sword has a discrete chance of blocking spells. Some resources provided block chance that did not require that you have a shield equipped, while others required that you have some form of block chance for them to apply. Sure. Now there's a simple chance to block attack damage and chance to block spell damage. Spell damage. I don't know if I like the wording of that. Sources that previously caused some portions of your block chance to apply to spells now grant chance to block spell damage at a specific value. Check the item balance section below. Okay, specific value. Item balance. Okay, we'll check that out in a second. Well, later. Value and do not require other sources of block. The exception of this is Gladiator's Ascendancy passive Versatile Combatant, which still sets your chance to block spell damage to be the same as your chance to block attack damage. What? We're gonna play Sunder! Yikes. Instant skills can now be used while moving. This includes Warcries, which have been made instant via ascendancies or passive skills, and curses that are supported by blasphemy. Note that a skill which is ordinarily instant, such as an aura, will not be instant and therefore unusable while moving if it has its cast speed changed by a support gem, such as spell totem. Okay, makes sense. Absolutely. Secondary damage, such as an explosive part of explosive arrow, can now be blocked and dodged, evaded, and spell blocked depending on its sources. Sources of... So this also applies to Detonate Dead. I think they should have mentioned that. I don't know. I mean, okay. I don't think very many people care about Explosive Arrow, but Detonate Dead, I mean, it's probably pretty useful. Skill balance. Oh my goodness, these are big. The auto-targeting done by single-target melee attacks such as Heavy Strike or Molten Strike, i.e. any attack that requires name locking, now targets enemies within a wider area based on the total range of your attack. The width of this targeting area grows by 1 unit per 3 units of melee range. This should make it much easier to target enemies with these skills. Wouldn't this make things a lot more annoying for multi-strike? I don't know. I mean, I guess. Just give him melee splash, dude. Come on. The following melee skills now gain additional melee weapon range every 7 levels up to +2 at level 20 and +3 at level 21. Dual Strike, Elemental Hit, Frenzy, Glacial Hammer, Heavy Strike, Molten Strike, Puncture, Riposte, Static Strike, Viper Strike, Wild Strike, Vigilant Strike, Ancestral Protector, Dominating Blow, Ancestral Protector! I like the Dominating Blow buff. It's nice. Okay, I'm cool with this, sure. The following skills are now instant by default and can therefore be used while moving. I don't know why they wouldn't just increase the range on this stuff, by the way. I don't know why it has to scale with levels, like, come on. The following skills are now instant by default and can therefore be used while moving. Blood, Rage, Righteous, Fire, Molten, Show, Haste, Vitality, Discipline, Grace, Determination, Anger, Hatred, Wrath, Clarity, Envy, Arctic Armor, Purity of Elements, Purity of Ice, Purity of Lightning, Purity of Elements. I missed something. Anyway, Convocation, very nice. Herald of Ash, Herald of Ice, Herald of Thunder, Phase Run, very nice. Phase Run, yes. Aspect of the Cat. Aspect of the avian, aspect of the spider, and aspect of the crab. They're coming back, dude. All instant skills now have some sort of cooldown, typically 1 second or less. Nice. Instant skills cannot be supported by spell echo and will not be cast a second time by similar effects, such as from the echoing shrine. Cool. Oh, the necessary mehness. Vaal's soul gain prevention time is now modified by modifiers to skill duration and buff duration, if these modifiers in some way affect the associated skill. For example, reducing the duration of Vaal Earthquake will now reduce the Vaal soul gain prevention time, while increasing the duration of the Vaal haste will increase the Vaal soul gain prevention time. Minions no longer wander around as much as they used to while you're idle. Cool. Skill reworks. In this expansion, we reworked 3 existing skills: Dominating Blow, Static Strike, and Caustic Arrow. The Static Strike? Nice. We know all about Dominating Blow, unless there's some new information that we don't really know about. I don't see anything particularly new, so we know all about it. You guys can check out the previous videos on this stuff. Static Strike. Now this, we do not know things. Now, when you hit an enemy with Static Strike, you will gain a buff, which causes you to frequently hit nearby enemies with beams, dealing attack damage. The beams deal more damage while you are moving than while you are stationary. The buff can stack up to 3 times, increasing the frequency which the beams strike. Deals 100% of base damage at gem level 1 up to 146% at gem level 20. Beams deal 60% less damage while stationary and 40% less damage while moving. This penalty drops slightly as the gem levels. Beams can hit up to 4 targets at gem level 1 and up to 6 at gem level 20. The buff duration is 4 seconds, and each stack increases the beam's striking frequency, which is every 0.4 seconds by 10%. This thing's fucking nice. I like it. The buff can stack up to 3 times. I don't know if that's enough. Well, 4 seconds is nice, dude. I like it. I like this. I like it. It's nice, I like. Wonder if they have AoE. Probably not. I mean, that'd be pretty crazy, right? Yeah, maybe there's a helmet enchant. Interesting. Cool. I like what they did here. I don't know if it's gonna be enough, but it'll probably enough. Caustic Arrow. So we've read a little bit about this before, but we don't really know damn much. But yeah, let's clarify some of the things over here. Now deals damage in an area, Caustic Arrow. Now deals damage in an area to the target location before leaving a lingering patch of Caustic Ground, which deals chaos damage over time. As Caustic Ground is a ground type akin to Burning Ground, it will not affect flying monsters such as Raging Spirits. Sure. Now has a base duration of 2 seconds at all levels, which is fine. The duration nerf, absolutely whatever. 60% of physical damage is now converted to chaos damage. Previously, Caustic Arrow added extra chaos damage based on physical damage. Great change also. Now deals 7 base chaos damage per second at gem level 1. Holy shit. You're definitely going to be leveling with this, because I think it's like 4.8 currently, right? Something like that. 7? Dude, every ranger is gonna level with this. Just get Pierce in this and you're popping. It's actually 5.3. Yeah. You're gonna be leveling with Caustic Arrow. It already was pretty alright, but now with a +1 bow, which you can get pretty easily, I like it. It's nice. Up to 1,714.8 base chaos damage per second at gem level 20, which by the way is fucking insane, because the previous amount of damage that it dealt was 765, so it deals more than twice the amount of damage. And also, just to highlight, we did see a level 17 gem previously, and the 17 gem was from 450 to 900, so the assumption was that it probably scales pretty high, like much further, but then the higher gem level, because typically you're going to be looking at getting, you know, a level 26, 27, 28 Caustic Arrow gem, it probably will drop off and will be something closer to, I don't know, 50%, something like that. I think Caustic Arrow would absolutely get away with that, and it will be pretty okay. As somebody who's played Caustic Arrow very recently and has been prepared for a potential rework, I've put in the effort, I think it would have been nice. But the fact that it goes up the higher the level is ridiculous. Caustic Arrow will be absolutely broken. Not to mention the whole area overlap thing. Pretty much you're playing KB Fireball with scaling, and there's also extra bow scaling that we're gonna read about in just a second. It's the same as level 29 now? Yeah. This is crazy, honestly. It's, yeah, Caustic Arrow. Let's go, boys. It's gonna be insane. Cool. I love it. I mean, it's too strong, but I love it. Shit. You can use Mirage Archer, you can play this with a Raider, you can play it with a Deadeye, you can play it with a Pathfinder, go Queen of the Forest. Don't need to care about your supports, don't need to care about +3 potentially. You can scale it however you want, attack base, non-attack base, use passives, not use passives, get nuts! Why would you ever do Trickster with these? Maybe for defenses, because MOM's still pretty strong. Alright. Other skills, Fire Nova Mine, base damage increased by 25% at all gem levels. Wow, that is pretty big for leveling. I don't know how big it is for endgame. It's still a Fire Nova Mine, but with instantaneous mines and 25% more damage, nice. Or increased base damage, I should say. Fire Trap, base damage from the initial explosion increased by 40%, and the base damage over time increased by 20%. Fire Trap's fucking strong. Wow, Fire Trap's really good for leveling now too. What? That's interesting. They went so overboard with this. That's a lot. It needed a little bit of a push. But all gem levels? 40%? They went a little bit far with this. Lightning Trap, base damage increased by 40% at whole gem levels! Oh my god. Rory, I take everything back about Elemental Hit and Arc and Impulsa and all this crap and one-shotting Uber at Zeri, dude. You're a genius. Lightning Trap, everybody. Fuck yeah. Praise the Lord. Ice Trap. Base damage increased by 40% at all gym levels. Wasn't ever a big Ice Trap fan, but I'm sure the boys that like it are going to be happy about this. Explosive Trap. Base damage increased by 40% at gem levels 4 and up? At gem level 1 to 4, the damage has been increased slightly more at each level up to level 4. I guess they want to make it viable. I take everything back about leveling with Fire Trap, by the way. Get wrecked, idiots. Frostbomb now reduces energy shield regeneration rate and recovery rate, not just life regeneration rate. Cool. Shield Charge, so also something that we've read about a little bit before. Now has 3 distinct sections: the start of the charge, the movement part of the charge, and the attack at the end of the charge. Your weapon's base attack time now affects the start and end and movement speed, and increases to global attack speed now affect the middle. Local attack speed modifiers no longer affect the middle movement part of the charge, whereas previously they would. In other words, while using Brightbeak will cause the start and end of the charge to be quicker, it will not cause you to move from point A to point B any more quickly. For that, you need to invest in global attack speed and movement speed. That's cool. To help compensate for this loss in movement speed for most characters, Shield Charge now gains 1% increased movement speed at gem levels up. It's fine. It's cool. Shield Charge still works. Kind of clunky with the overall meta and everything. A lot of people are going to move towards Leap Slam and potentially Flame Dash and Lightning Warp. Flame Dash base cast time lowered to 0.7 seconds from 0.75. Huge. Range increased by 20% only, bringing it in line with Leap Slam and Charge Dash. Aww. Now gains 4% increased cooldown recovery speed per gem level, up to 76% at gem level 20. That's cool. Quality bonus now grants 1% increased cooldown recovery speed per 1 quality. Strong. Was previously 1% cast speed per 2% quality. I mean, I don't see why they did 20%, dog. I was hoping for like 35, 40 at least. Or maybe just bring it back to what it used to be. I actually don't know how big of a difference it was. It was a pretty big difference though. That was like a long time ago. But the recovery speed's really cool. I mean, it's going to be a lot more usable. It won't be the usual use 3 and then you're out to like cross a small distance. You're actually going to probably use 2, get to the next pack of mobs, and by the time you finish it, you're probably going to get your charges back. So, big. Lightning Warp! Base cast time lowered to 0.85? No! From 1 second? Now it's 20% reduced duration at gem level 1 from 0% up to 39% reduced duration at gem level 20 up from 38%. No! Why? Why not make it good? Why does it need to be crap still? Oh my god, dude. Debated. Everybody already had 100% reduced duration. This doesn't change anything for endgame builds, and it doesn't really do much for leveling either, because nobody can ever utilize this skill. And changing the base cast time from 1 second! 1 second, dude! That's how long it takes shield charge to travel through the entire map. Or leap time for that matter, too. To 0.85? I mean, it feels slightly better, but it's still so bad. Oh my goodness. Oh man, I wish they changed it to like 0.6 at least. Give it a 0.6! Should have been like 0.5, but 0.6 I would get away with that, man. Lightning Warp is strong, but it's got so many downsides to traveling from point A to point B with nothing in between. You can't utilize your abilities properly. You can't clear the way other builds can while they're charging through mobs. Come on, dog. I'm so happy I didn't buy the Lightning Warp MTX. I fucking knew this is gonna happen. I was gonna get it and get my extra chest, and now I'm not getting it. Probably. I'll probably still buy it, but shit, man, come on. It needed a little bit more. Rain of Arrows now includes the projectile tag and the skill gem. Neat. Sunder, base range reduction by 20% at all levels. Oh, what is this? Base explosion radius reduced to 15 from 16! At all levels.
This was not mentioned in the previous post.
Radius now grows more slowly, gaining +1 to radius 1 gem level later than previously. Wait. What? So you need a level 22 gem? To get +1 radius? Why? My Sunder. Alright, you guys can stop sending me Twitter posts about condolences and all this sort of shit. The explosion radius difference makes no sense. Why not just lower the damage? Punish more the AoE by doing this. Why make the skill feel less consistent and just shittier overall and more dependent on crappy stuff like multi-strike? Just, it doesn't really make sense. Especially since Sunder is an ability that pretty much only works at like a higher level. It's not even a tier 1 ability. It's just that it's powerful in its early game, but in its end game, it definitely is significantly slower than many other builds. And this is just SSF. On Trade League, Sunder is not a factor. It is not even a factor. Okay? So it's a fucking pretty bad change, honestly. I'll be straight up. It's a bad change, man. It's just, yeah, it doesn't do anything. It really doesn't do anything. Unless they change something with Vaal double strike. I don't know, we'll see. But that's a really bad way to go around it. The people that played Sunder are still gonna play Sunder, and the people who don't like Sunder still won't like Sunder. Kinetic Blast now deals 35% less area damage, down from 25%. Explosion placement has been reworked. They are now divided across 4 equal arcs, like pizza slices. Nice. In cases where there is no space in an arc that it could place an explosion, that explosion is not placed. Explosion's spacing is also now more regular. The net result is that in open spaces, the area coverage will on average be more even, but single target damage in tight spaces is now lower. Lower? You mean non-existent? No more overlap? It's a good change for Kinetic Blast. If you really want to invest a fuck ton into Kinetic Blast, it's probably still the best ability in the entire game. Obviously, like, maps have something to do with it, but the scaling through abyss gems and all this sort of stuff is ridiculous. But if you're on SSF, or if you don't have a lot of months, then Kinetic Blast should probably play something else until you get a little bit more money. And yeah, there's no more knockback or anything like that. You're gonna need a separate single target with barrage or something like that. Absolutely, if for sure. Maybe this is the return of the single target Kinetic Blast. And by that I mean physical Kinetic Blast with poison. Orb of Storms can now be cast by mines, traps, and totems, and can be triggered. I feel like there should be some far-reaching implications of this, but no. Okay. Molten Shell. Mana cost increased to 12 at gem level 1, up from 8, up to 28 at gem level 20, same as previously. Cool. Earthquake and Vaal Earthquake. Oh my god, get ready to be disappointed. The Aftershock now deals 70%, up from 50% more damage with hits and elements, as opposed to every form of damage at all gem levels. What the fuck? Why you do that? Earthquake still crap, and Vaal Earthquake still makes no sense. It's just a gimmicky piece of shit. Just get rid of it. Get rid of it! It's ugly. Vaal Righteous Fire now sacrifices the amount of life and energy shield from energy shield before life. In other words, low life builds should not have the skill disable on use as long as they have enough energy shield to cover both the life and energy shield cost. I like this. Again, something that we talked about before, as they did release this information prior. It's cool. I like it. It's a cool change. I mean, I think Vaal skills are cool, and you should promote the use of it. Vaal Molten Shell now has a soul gain prevention duration of 7 seconds, up from 5. Vaal Clarity now has a soul gain prevention duration of 14, up from 12. What the fuck? Come on, doggy dog. Why you do this? Support gem balance. Why? It makes no sense. Nobody plays this stuff. Support gem balance multiple traps now causes support skills to deal 50% less damage at gem level 1, up from 40%, so you deal less damage. Up to 31% less damage at gem level 20 from 21, so 10% there. Fair. Cluster Trap now causes supported skills to throw up to 2 additional traps at all levels, down from 3. Fair. That's it? You're not gonna talk about the rest of the trap stuff? Like, for instance, one-shotting every content in the game by pre-casting 20-some traps? Okay. Physical projectile attack, vicious/vicious projectiles. I mean, I guess it's fine to just kill everything, shit. Physical projectile attack/vicious projectiles. Physical projectile attack has been renamed to Vicious Projectiles. In addition to 30% more physical projectile attack damage and 10% less projectile attack speed, it now causes supported skills to deal 30% more chaos damage over time and 30% more physical damage over time, as opposed to more damage with bleeding and poison specifically at gem level 1. It's nice, I like. It's good. This is a fantastic change. I like. Passive tree balance. Now we're getting into the fun part. The Templar Start upper path has been reworked. The 2 passive skills now provide increased damage rather than increased elemental damage. I like. The melee damage passive skills on the lower arc of the upper cluster have been replaced by 6% increased attack damage and 6% increased minion damage passives. The Retribution Notable now grants 14% increased damage as opposed to 14% increased spell damage and 14% increased melee damage. This Notable now also causes minions to deal 10% increased damage. Yeah! The small passive in the Amplified Cluster now grants 10% increased area damage, up from 8. Guys, they fixed AoE skills. Holy moly, this is big. There's new passive connect. That was sarcasm, by the way. Sorry to anybody who got their hopes up. The Elementalist, Catalyze, and Light of Divinity clusters have emerged into one unholy cluster Small spell damage and weapon elemental damage passives have been replaced with elemental damage passives. Okay. Oh man, it's still so bizarre. So they basically took all the stuff that we're missing out from the early points and just mashed it into like this one ball of a cluster. Catalyst has been renamed to Divine Favor. That was the Wedu node. In addition to the 24% increased elemental damage and 10% to strength and intelligence, it now grants 25% increased melee critical strike chance and causes damage with weapons to penetrate 3% of elemental resistance. Oh my god, what is happening? Elementalist has been renamed to Holy Dominion. In addition to plus 12 to all elemental resistances, 5% chance to freeze, shock, and ignite, and 12% increased elemental damage up from 10%. It now grants 12% increased global physical damage. What the fuck? How does any of this makes any sense? Wait, so the other ones were fine to be global damage, but this one is only increased elemental damage and increased global physical damage? Is this for, like, builds that convert or something? Like, I don't get. The small passives leading to Holy Dominion now grant 10% increased elemental damage, up from 8%. So they're basically trying to get rid of those 3 starting nodes. I mean, overall, this is a buff, but, like, thematically, it's just so bizarre to be. The elemental damage passives in Celestial Judgment / Celestial Punishment cluster now grant 8% increase spell damage, up from 6%. The first passive in this cluster now grants 10% increase elemental damage, up from 8%. Okay. There's a new cluster just north of Celestial Judgment / Celestial Punishment cluster, which grants minion benefits. In particular, the farthest node causes increases and reductions to minion damage to also affect you. Wow. That's strong. I mean, we don't know to what extent, but that's nice. He needs a Scourge Claw, by the way. The Puppet Master and Herd the Flock minion clusters immediately north of the Templar start have been renamed to Sacrifice and Spiritual Command. So the zombie node with life, and Herd the Flock, the resistance node above Templar. To anybody that's not keeping up. The Sacrifice cluster now grants a total of 30% increased minion maximum life, down from 36%. Plus 15 to minions elemental resistance. Minion regeneration. Minions regenerate 3% life per second? What? And 0.5 of life regenerated. Wait, what? Minions regenerate 0.3% life regenerate. It's 3%! It says 3% here. It's so big. And 0.5 of life regenerated per second. So for the player, it says 3% right there. It's 3%. Split across 3 small passives and the notable. Okay, what the fuck? Come on. Oh no, this is all together. This is all together what you get? 15 minion resistance, 30% life, 3% regen, and 0.5 regen for the player? For 3 nodes? That's like more than twice the effectiveness of anything else that Summoner has ever had. Don't get me wrong, it's great, but holy moly. And then it leads up to this crazy ass node too. The additional zombie and skeleton from this notable has been moved to the Death Attunement notable, north of which. Ooh. I don't know how much I like that. Okay, I guess. Spiritual Command cluster now grants a total of 43% increased minion damage, 7% increased attack speed for minions, 7% increased cast speed for minions, and 40% increased minion accuracy rating. What? That's crazy too. The notable also causes increases and reductions to minion attack speed to also affect you? What? That's insane! These benefits are split across 3 small passives and a notable. The additional zombie from this notable has been moved to Grave Intentions. A Leap Slam Summoner? Here I come? That's crazy. Okay. I really wonder how effective the 40% is, because it's 40%, but we really have no idea what the baseline is for minions or anything like that. Hope they're going to be highlighting how much this is, but that's still pretty powerful. The second passive on the right, Path of the Witch's Start, now grants 8% maximum minion life in addition to 12% increased maximum energy shield. Does this make sense? Okay. The right-hand arc of the Witch's leftmost starting cluster now grants 4% increased cast speed per passive, up from 3. Game's fixed, guys. Insane. It's fixed. Right? Shadow gets 4% cast speed and 4% attack speed. Witch no longer gets 3, she now gets 4 cast speed. What attack speed you say? Yeah, I don't know either. Would it be too much to give her 12% spell damage on the nodes and then 5% cast speed? Apparently. Oh my god. And it's spell damage too. You could give 14 and it would be fine. Like what? The mana and mana regenerator passive on the right hand arc of the Witch's rightmost starting cluster has been replaced by minion damage, minion attack speed, and minion cast speed passives. The Cultist Dominion notable has been renamed to Arcanist Dominion and now grants 5% increased cast speed, up from 4. We're getting somewhere now, boys! Why did they rename it? The Lord of the Dead notable now grants 30% increased minion accuracy rating. Damn, dude, I don't know how much these accuracy things are doing. They're doing a lot for certain things, like SRS. Oh my god, SRS might be playable now. What the fuck? I no longer have to play an SRS build with 10,000 life, 4,000 mana, and 14% increased minion damage. I can actually invest into minion damage now? This is crazy. What the fuck? There is a new cluster just above Deep Wisdom notable, which grants 31% increased maximum mana, 20% increased mana regeneration rate, 20% increased mana recovery from flasks, and 2 mana regenerate per second split across 2 small passives in the Arcane Will notable. Strong. I like it. That's a great change, yeah. The northmost passive on the Arcane Focus cluster now also grants 5% increased mana regeneration rate. We have added new clusters to the passive tree, focusing on expanding the effect and utility of Warcries. A new cluster... Oh, I guess I'll comment real quick about all the summoning type of stuff. It's probably not enough for like a lot of the things that we know right now. But it's good. It's better than where it was, definitely. Although Templar still baffles me. A new cluster, Words of Glory, has been added between the Marauder and the Templar. It grants increases to Warcry duration, Warcry cooldown recovery speed, and Warcry buff effect. The notable also causes your Warcries to cost no mana and grants you and nearby allies 6% increased attack cast speed and movement speed if you've Warcried recently. Kind of cool. Another cluster, I would like for it to be like 10%, but I mean Warcries by themselves are pretty rewarding. I would just like for it to utilize, you know, summons more and all this stuff. Another cluster, Battle Cry, has been added near the Unwavering Stance keystone. Well, that's pretty fucked. It offers increased Warcry duration, increased Warcry cooldown recovery speed, and increased Warcry buff effect. Oh. The notable also makes using Warcries instant. Damn. This one's an investment, but damn, can you really justify it with all this new crap? It's a weird one. The Warcries are weird. I really have my hopes up, but I wish they would talk about how much the Warcry buff is. The increased Warcry buff. If it's like 25% to like 30, then it's probably pretty nice. But near Unwavering Stance, man. That's awkward. But we'll see. Let's keep reading. Fatal Toxin Cluster between the Shadow and the Ranger now grants a total of 65% increased damage with poison, down from 115. Now also grants a total of 55 increased chaos damage with attack scales. Whew! And we were thinking about how the fuck do we scale through all that stuff with caustic arrow? Never mind, they fixed it for us. That's pretty big. That's strong. Aspect of the Eagle, got it. Lethality and the passives leading to it have had the same treatment. So have the passives leading to King of the Hill and Avatar of the Hunt. Sure, makes sense. All of it consistent. To be expected with the previously announced stuff. Guardian! Prayer of Glory has been replaced by a new notable, Radiant Crusade. You and allies affected by your aura skills deal 20% increased damage, 10% increased area of effect for each summoned Sentinel of Purity. Is it you and your allies? You and your allies affected by your aura skills deal 20% increased damage, 10% increased area of effect for each summoned Sentinel. It also works with the minions. No way. 10% more damage while you have at least one nearby ally. Herald of Purity has 40% increased buff effect and summoned... We don't know the numbers on that, right? And summoned Sentinels of Purity have 50% increased area of effect. They're like turbo zombies. The passives leading to this notable grants 14% increased armor, 6% increased maximum energy shield, and minions deal 10% increased damage. Cool. Added a new notable which requires Radiant Crusade, Unwavering Crusade. Summoned Sentinels use Crusade as Slam. 100% increased minion accuracy rating. Okay, that's definitely a significant buff. Minions intimidate enemies for 4 seconds on hit. And if you've hit an enemy recently, you and nearby allies regenerate 3% of life per second. The passive leading to this notable grants 14% increased armor, 6% increased maximum energy shield, and minions deal 10% increased damage. It's not that impressive. To be honest. I mean, it's good. It's very thematic. The minion accuracy, we already have like 60% on the skill tree. The intimidate is nice, but whatever. We don't know how powerful the slam is. We don't know how strong the AoE is. The regen is unnecessary, and the leading up node is inconsequential. We don't know how significant the Herald of Purity 40% buff is, but I can assume that it's pretty significant looking at something like Elementalist, right? And considering how powerful the Herald of Agony is. Summon Sentinels of Purity have 50% increased area of effect. Man, it really... Yeah, a lot of it is very dependent on the Purity boys. And how they move and whatnot. In the videos that we saw, I mean, they were more or less a zombie, honestly. We'll see. I don't know. It's looking good, but it's not as fun and interesting as I thought they could have made it. I don't think... I think it's definitely not a Rip Necromancer scenario. Zana's missions have been updated. Now when you encounter her, she will offer a selection of different maps and mission types for you to choose from. It's fucking awesome. The maps she offers are always the same tier of the map you're currently in or one higher. It's also fucking awesome. The selection can include shaped maps. That's so cool! The maximum tier of maps she can now offer as part of a mission is tier 16. What? That's massive buff. That's so good for SSF too. I love it. Damn, that's like why didn't they talk about this in the previous stuff? This is way better than some Shaper Stronghold shit. That's nice. I love it. Nice. Additionally, we've added a bunch of new mission types that work previous League mechanics, such as Breach, into her missions. Yeah! Shorten the random Shaper time freeze events quite a lot. Thank you. That's just a thank you for me. My formation now has more even monster density across the map in most cases. So does alleyways. Okay. Improve the layout of the lair map and reduce the total number of monsters to compensate. Improved. I wonder what that means. So far, good changes. The unique map Care Blade can no longer generate certain layouts that allow you to bypass one of the mini bosses. That's happened to me before. Leandra from the tower map no longer speaks at the start of the fight. Cool. Still a long fight. Bazzer from the tower map has a dirty new trick up his weird fleshy sleeve. Ah, the sleeve of wizard. Leandra should have she has the long sleeve of wizard. Alright, man. Dirty? That's such a cool sentence. Bazzer from the tower map has a dirty new trick up his weird fleshy sleeve. The guy beat his hands to a pulp, dude. This is so insensitive. You can now see maps which have been taken over by the Elder or its guardians, even if that map is not yet revealed on your atlas. Yes! Once you have met the Shaper as part of the hidden Architect questline, the Shaper will influence maps connected to a map you have already completed, and that influence will not shift between maps. Yes! These are fantastic changes. What? I love all of this. Thank you. All Zana mods. Essence. Yes! We get Essence. Thank God. Level 2, Onslaught. Level 3, Bloodlines. Level 4, Ambush. Level 4, Fortune Favors the Brave. Level 4, Alternate of the same tier. Costs 1 chaos. Requires a rare map. Open a random rare map of the same tier, including a map you placed in the device. What? Is it like a... Can you complete your Atlas stuff with this? Is it like a Horizon Orb, but Zana? And 1 Chaos? Can you... Oh man, I wish they clarified that. You probably can complete it, right? That's fucking so nice. That's so good. It's a great addition to the game. Absolutely. Beyond. Costs 4 Chaos. Slaying... yeah. Beyond is 5. 6 is Essence. What's that? Level 6 requires 5 memory fragments found, shaped tier 1 to 5. Costs 2 chaos orbs, requires a rare map. Open a version of your map at 5 tiers higher, randomly rolled as a rare. Opens a version of your map at 5 tiers higher. Okay, how can I utilize this? Shaper orbs? Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too, but it's the same map. Where's a rare map? Open a version. I don't know. I mean, I like it, but oh, okay, you can do the same thing at level 7. Level 7 Zana. Oh man, I don't know if that's enough. Alright, anyway, I like it, but it's not as impactful. But it's cool. It's almost like a catch-up mechanic. Just level 5. Yeah, a little weird. I think maybe they should be like 1 tier lower or something. 7 is Nemesis. And 7 is also requires 10 memory fragments found. 10 memory fragments found. Shaped tier 1 to 10, costs 6 chaos orbs, requires a rare map. Open a version of your map at 5 tiers higher, randomly rolled as a rare with a chance to be corrupted. 7. Man, I don't think this stuff is that useful. It costs 6 chaos. By the time you have a Zana 7, I mean, shit, dude. You're popping. It's not useful in Trade League. It's not really useful in SSF either, unless you're like really, really fucking stuck. It's just too little too late. If it would be earlier, then it would be a lot better. But it's just too little too late. Level 8 is Harbinger. Costs 6 chaos. Area contains 3 extra Harbingers. Level 8 requires an Elder Orb to have obtained. Elder tier 1 to 15. Costs 15 chaos orbs. Requires a rare map. Open a version of your map at tier 16. Randomly rolled as rare with a chance to be corrupted. This is a little better. Now this one's a little better. I'm just thinking if like realistically if you're ever you would do this, right? You would absolutely do this. But then this will automatically lower the cost of like tier 16 maps, right? And if it lowers the cost of the tier 16 maps to anywhere around 20 chaos, which is most likely going to be the case, but maybe not. I don't really know. It's kind of hard to tell. It depends on builds and all this sort of stuff. It also depends on league that you're playing because, yeah. You have to remember that this is a randomly rolled as a rare Zana map that if you can't run it, then you're fucked, right? With a chance to be corrupted too. So it's like, if enough stupid people think that this is really, really good, then you can like really, really, really benefit from it. But if everybody has a skeptical approach to it and takes like a more selfish approach, then it's still really good. But you can definitely see, like, you can definitely have ways of just mapping at higher tiers for cheaper now through something like this, if you just have enough people doing it and just getting other maps through it. So yeah, the level 8 I'd say is the most impactful, but it's still a level 8 Zana, so it won't affect me, but it's definitely going to affect a lot of you softcore guys. Finishing thoughts. Caustic Arrow is crazy. Block is interesting. Guardian is interesting. Minions are in a much better and definitely a lot more, definitely significantly more versatile spot. And that's about it. Oh, Static Strike's pretty exciting. Dominating Blow's pretty exciting. Fire Nova Mine's crazy. Fire Trap's crazy. Lightning Trap's crazy. Ice Trap. Explosive Trap, crazy. Shield Charge Change, good. Flame Dash. Wish it was a little bit more, but it's a great thing. Lightning Warp. You know what? Yeah, we're done reading the patches. It's fucking Lightning Warp, dude.